I used to sell jewelry, and then the police started confiscating my jewelry. As the years progressed, we saw everyone that was out here doing handmade stuff. They were slowly disappearing. It got worse and worse. They started taking our jewelry, they started taking our equipment, they started taking us to jail.
A poet had been arrested for violating our vendor law because he didn't have a license to sell his poetry pamphlets. And that struck me at the time, and I was a true civil libertarian when it came to the First Amendment. What came of that was my submitting an amendment to the local code that said, except for written materials, so that the vendor law would apply to the trinkets and beads and other things, but not to written materials.
Because they told us the only thing we could sell was written matter, we started fronting the jewelry and other things that we sold off with magazines. And then people started to buy the magazine. A lot of our old customers and friends would say, well, I got some books, I got some magazines, and we started getting them from them. And then the recycling thing came along, and we was noticing books and magazines being put out, especially in this particular area, which is NYU all around here. And that's how it started.
We're in Greenwich Village in Washington Square Park, and within a 3 or 4 block radius, you'll find NYU, and about 2 blocks from here, book vendors.
We've got so much character around us, from the guy selling old magazines and old books to the guy who sits outside the hot dog shop who knows everybody who walks down the street.
People come down here to hang out, to have a good time. It's always been a very upbeat and very active street life.
The thing that distinguishes Greenwich Village is that it is a neighborhood that is actually central to American literary and artistic history. The Lebanese poet Khalil Gibran wrote The Prophet. It's on 10th Street. This is a time that tries men's souls. Thomas Paine, the American Revolutionary, right in this building. It's incredible. This is where Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Raven. Here on this block, you have the famous beat poets. Probably raised a lot of hell on this block. Nearby, you have some of the great jazz clubs. Blue Note, Village Vanguard, Cafe Wha, where Jimi Hendrix started. And this is where Louisa May Alcott wrote Little Women. And this building here on the corner is where the show Friends takes place. From where we are now, the booksellers are about half a block down in either direction. What's critical about where the booksellers on 6th Avenue are located is a train station. One group of booksellers come right out of the subway, they're there.
The first ever time I became homeless, it was 12 years ago. This is where I came, to the village. Even though I had got my life together, went back, lived with my family, had a job working at Bethesda Hospital and all that, I still came to the village. I feel like I'm part of this community. This is my job, I come here every day to make money to support myself and my family. Wife, we've been together 19 years. I got 7 kids.
I picked up my drinking after my wife had cancer. I eventually was discarded out to the streets. I had enough general knowledge just to exist. And if I wanted to, I could have eventually started living. But alcohol, they took over my life. I got sober 7 years ago. This is a way to earn a self-esteem because I'm seeing accomplishments that I made.
Everything on that table is $2 each. $2 each. Everything on that table is $2 each.
Ron is like a little brother to me. And he kind of like fits the bill of having some type of family here in New York.
How long have you two been working together?
About 4 years.
You can ask me anything about any of these books, I can tell you. Before I set up the books, I check them out to see if they're a good book or not. They're either classic or they're a New York Times bestseller. I got all these absolute ads for her.
Yeah, it's a big thing in his school. All the kids do it. So we're up to like 320.
My relationship with Ron started because he's a good bookseller, and he's kind of like honest. He has scruples about his ideas when he's selling books. Like he won't sell a bad book. But the point is, the crack is taken away from everything good about it.
Before I started selling books, started selling crack, you know, but the guys that selling the crack would say, yo, I'll give you 10 bags of crack. You sell 8 of them, I give you 2. And I kept the whole thing. I took the whole thing. I was scared to go back over there by the bar because I didn't want the guys to run into me. So that's why I drifted towards 6th Avenue. One of the guys that was over there panhandling gave me some comic books and I brought them down here and sold them. And ever since that, I started selling books.
I came from corporate environment. I had a college education, and quite frankly, there was nothing at that time that would have ever allowed me to believe that I would have ended up, working on 6th Avenue. Not the best block to be on, because most of the street traffic is across the street. People see you all the time. They kind of get used to where you are, whether they're your customer or not. It's kind of like a human point of reference.
Good deal.
Thanks a lot. They said if you can afford the $150 shoes, then you can afford to buy the box for $7.99 also. But some people who have sense, they don't spend that much. They rather buy it for $2. I paid $10 for one of this when I found one. And this one here, I paid $4 to Conrad. I show you my picture here. See, that's me right there. I was working for the construction company before. This is my boss right here. See, I paint most of his room. Most of this is his shoe house. So I paint all of these things in here. 7 years I work for the company. The construction becomes slow. The company hire me maybe once a week. It's not enough. I got all my bills piled up. What should I do? I have to hustle.
I was managing a RKO video store. I was with them for like about 3 years. They went into Chapter 11. They ended up letting me go. And Scotty, who was across the street that I used to buy comics from, knew that I knew more about comics than he did. That's from 1940, that's obviously 1955. And he told me, why don't I get into selling comics out here?
First time I came out of 6th Avenue, I was just getting out of jail. So I'm coming out in the world with nothing. Came straight to 6th Avenue looking for my friend Slim, all right? So what he was doing, he was out here selling the table, so I just wanted to get involved in that. Start like this. Start like that. Get a line going. Then.
What's up? How you doing? Come on, buy a book, man. Buy a book. Come on, man. Buy a book. Spend some money. I stopped school when I was in like the 7th grade or something, but I didn't make it to the 8th. My mother was there. They had nobody to take care of my brother and sister, so I had to fall out of school, I couldn't get the education, but I can't read and write that good.
But the rest of it, I don't worry about it.
How do you know what magazine the people are asking you for if you can't read and write?
I know?
Yeah.
Because I learned from the guys on the block. I learned how they sell it. $2 a piece, 3 for $5.
$2, 3 for $5.
They're 3 for $5, big guy.
Either way, they're gonna buy it, but you gotta give them an offer that they can't deny.
Can you read your address?
Read my address? I don't have one. I'm homeless. I don't have an address.
When I was selling books, you could learn to sell them on the ground. You don't need a table and that. When I got stabbed over, it was twisted from the heart. So I stopped selling. I called Mr. Duneier. I used to sleep here. I used to sleep right on the steps back there. And they just closed everything off. See the gate right there and see the other side. They built it. They told me this is my last night. So I went to the bat cave over there. And they might do something with that. I don't care. I say, yo, I gotta sleep somewhere.
It bothers me that homeless people engage in bookselling as a way to support themselves. What it enables people to do is not engage with the social service network, not get the psychiatric help or the psychological help that they need. It makes them independent of the social order in a way that's not positive.
I go in the store, and go in these stores asking for a job. You think they're gonna give it to me? I went to high school, completed 12th grade. I went to college, I did 2 years. If you don't want to give me the opportunity in life, I'm gonna make my own opportunity in life. When I used to sleep on the street, they gave me quarters and nickels and dimes. Now, I got my ass up and start doing some stuff, you know? Now I got something to say, this is mine, but not just mine, I can say it's ours.
I think it's interesting that we as a society can all agree that living on the street and selling merchandise that's picked out of garbage or comes from other than conventional sources, that's not an appropriate life choice.
It's called recycling.
I don't think a rational person would make a life choice of living on the street and earning money in that way.
Come on, man.
People who rent apartments to people when you don't have a quantifiable job, so to speak, where they can call up and say, well, you know, this is your employer, these are your references. Sometimes it's a little bit, in fact, it's very difficult to get an apartment somewhere that's fairly decent. We lived in a Holland Hotel, which is right here in Jersey City. We managed to work out a rate of about $42 a day. It's not just a cliche to suggest that poor people pay more, because ultimately that's what happens.
I hunted for everything I got here, I hunted for. I went out there and hunted and got this and just created my own little job. Hunt means for one who goes out here at nighttime or through the course of the day seeking books, material, contraband, anything that he thinks he can make a buck from.
Early in the morning, 6 o'clock every morning, I usually go around and pick up recycling material like books. The books are kept separate from the garbage. They're kept separate from the bottles and the cans. And you have to get up very early in the morning to get to these books before the garbage trucks get to them. And you got to get there before the other guys get to them too.
Ron pretty much, he knows books real good. he could just look at it and say, yeah, that's good shit. Shit that I would never think would sell. Ron knows how to sell it.
Victoria's Secret, it's a free catalog, but for some reason when we put it on our stand, guys is willing to pay $2 a piece for them. Yeah, somebody didn't see that stuff.
You got to make deals with the supers of the buildings that we go to ask them to put it aside for us, and we will donate something to them financially.
It says new vocabulary, but I'm pretty sure there's some new vocabulary since 1981.
Just got to keep abreast to what people want. That's how you stay on top of it in this game right here.
You got some books? Nah.
I like doing it because it takes me back to a little child. You know, it's like looking for that gold.
It's fun finding something, you know, looking for magazines. Sometimes I don't know what I'm looking, but I like to go out, you know.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank you, God. God, thank God. God, I gotta give God thanks. Thank you, Father. Thank you. I can just take a quick glance and tell you most of them is good books. Howard Stern is okay. Most of these are good sellers. Oh, no. Muhammad Ali, king of the world. You know, this is definitely winner of the Pulitzer Prize. You know, I'll definitely sell this. This picture alone will definitely sell this book. Okay, all these paperbacks I'm taking. See, New York Times bestsellers list. That's a sure sign that it's a good paperback. #1 bestseller. New York Times bestseller. Charlie Brown always sells. So. Close. Water. Now we're off again. I hope I can manage this. This I'll definitely sell. The frame.
You believe this? I can't even light a cigarette. You like this for me, girl? Very helpful, my friend. All right. Ready? Get the man. Get the man. Get the man.
Discount for cutie pies. You fit that description. A lot of beautiful women be out here. I know that much. That's what I like about the situation.
Where do you get these books from?
Sometimes people donate them. Sometimes I buy them off people. Yeah. I have some interesting ones today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You read this?
No, but it sounds interesting. I've been out here a long time. I like meeting new people and talking with different people from all over the world. Belgium? This your first time in New York?
Oh, no, I'm here for a few months already.
Loads of face, try to put those on.
For Alice and I provide a chair for people who are tired. You've been here how long? All my life. Yeah, he comes to sit down with us. I guess the southern phrase, they call it Port City. I found this book called Death and Life of Great American Cities by a woman named Jane Jacobs. And the first 4 chapters had chapters entitled The Use of Sidewalks. And since I was on the sidewalk, I said, well, you know, let me see what's in here that, you know, kind of deals with me. And there was a reference to public characters.
Miss, is this what you're talking about?
Very important for a neighborhood to have public characters for many reasons. There are people who take responsibility, not because they're paid to. It's because they like to and they have a talent for it.
She owns the Korean store. Just around the corner, a little dining. I told her not to park the car yet until 9 o'clock. She gave me some free soda, free cigarette, and sometimes they bring me some breakfast.
They may not even have any ambition to be a public character, but it comes naturally to them.
It's not easy to be young and black, man. It's not easy. It's hard.
You think it's easier for me because I'm older than you?
It's true that if a public character gets support in their neighborhood and gives support, that their role becomes enlarged. It can be enlarged to the point that they're depended upon and respected.
They set up that information booth right in front of that Why Discriminate art. I guess that's what they call it anyway. And I was saying that basically it's an abomination, and that is because I think that I give out more information than that they do, and they're paid to give out information. See this block, Christopher Street? That's the main thing that I'm asked about all day long. Where's Christopher Street? Because there's no sign right here on that block that directs people to Christopher Street. Christopher Street sign is pointed towards Greenwich Avenue. If I could get 50 cents to $1 all day for the information that we have to dispense, we'd be doing all right out here.
Oh, excuse me, which way is West 4th?
Thank you.
No. 4th Street is like downtown. Go, ask this guy over here, man.
Public characters are aware of what's going on. They remember those contacts and keeps in touch with them.
That's usually a $5 or $10 hit right there. As soon as he comes, he always buys my art stuff that I personally pick for him.
This is